Alright, so now we are talking about one of my favorites growing up. I watched it all the time on the VHS. Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. Not the Disney Pinocchio, mind you. I did watch that quite a bit too. But this one was a unofficial sequel to the Disney film put out by Filmation. In fact, Disney actually sued Filmation and lost because this was, while keeping some of the characters. The Blue Fairy is called the Good Fairy here. With Pinocchio and Geppetto, the only two characters with the same names. But they don't look the same. Pinocchio has a red hat now. Geppetto, while keeping his white hair and the beard, no glasses, and he doesn't talk with the Italian accent like he did in... He does not talk like this. He talks like Tom Bosley from Happy Days, because that's who voices him. We got an all-star voice cast here. We got an all-star voice cast here. Scott Grimes, who would go on to be in ER and Critters, voiced Pinocchio. Tom Bosley from Happy Days and the Father Downing Mysteries, may he rest in peace, is Geppetto. Edward Asner plays a raccoon named Scallywag. By his side is Frank Welker playing a monkey named Igor. G. Willikers, the replacement for Jiminy Cricket, which is basically the same saying. You know, voiced by Don Knotts. May he also rest in peace. And we have Lieutenant Grumblebee, voiced by someone whose name I forgot because I'm stupid. Richard Harris. Richard Harris, who was, of course, in the Harry Potter movies. Is that the same one? Wasn't it? He was in the Harry Potter movies. He was, I think. It's not that shelf anymore. It's over here now. Hold on. Eric. Come on. I got a movie to review. Or Richard Harris. Yeah, Richard Harris. Who I believe he was then, and he was also Dr. Smith on the Lost in Space. He does the voice here of Sergeant Grumblebee. And so the story here is 1 year after Pinocchio has become a real boy, which means that if you go by when the original Disney one was released in 1940, that means that this could probably take place in 1941. Despite the fact it was released in 1987, which is a great year because that's the year I was born. Yeah. They're celebrating 1 year of him being a real boy. And the Blue Fairy, or the Good Fairy, shows up and sings a boring song that always makes me fall asleep. And then she says, don't take it for granted. And then Geppetto is like, oh, we will have the cake after you take this music box to the mayor for me. Because it's not like it's your birthday or anything, right? This is a plot point. This music box is a plot point. And it's kind of stupid. You see, he takes the music box, he go into the mirror, but Igor and Scallywag con him out of it with a ruby that is fake. Geppetto gets all pissed, and so Pinocchio says he's going to run away to the circus, which happens to be where our villain lives. He meets Puppetino, which is the guy's real name. He's this red-haired, mustachioed villain with a British accent. I don't know his voice actor from anything, but he hypnotizes Pinocchio with Twinkle, who's a female puppet. And Then he realizes who Pinocchio is, and he tricks Pinocchio into turning into a puppet again with the organ grinder. Now, this would have been this is where the story would have gone good if they stuck with this. But then you just have the good fairy show up and make him human again. I understand he wasn't moving, because he was just a puppet. But had they just made him a puppet again, but still be able to move, he could build towards becoming human again, like he did in the first one. Yes, it's a little bit of, in the original, I should say. Yes, it's a little bit of retread, but I think it would have worked. Or not make him a puppet again at all. Who knows? But the blue fairy saves him, and, So G. Willikers was a little wooden glowworm that she made turn alive. And he just so happened to say, G. Willikers, when it happened, so that's his name. So G. Willikers has a subplot in this film that just sort of goes nowhere. Pinocchio sets off on a quest to get the music box back. Still trying to get it back. To get the music box back now. And to do that, it turns out that Igor and I forgot his name. Scallywag and Igor gave it to the Emperor, gave it to Puppetino. Puppetino has it. So they have to go get it back. With Scallywag and Igor first wanting to turn him in. But because he saves their lives, they change their mind. It leads them to the Emperor's ship, the Empire of the Night, which is a stupid name. And, yeah. So, we have this side quest, because Willikers is separated from Pinocchio, which we didn't need. We have this side quest where he meets Lieutenant Grumblebee and all these bug people. And he's on his quest to meet up with Pinocchio. Takes up half the runtime of this film, just for him to meet up with Pinocchio again for the climax. I've always thought this part was necessary. It takes away from the plot, and it's probably because they probably didn't have enough. They're writing this, and they're like, oh, this isn't going to take up enough time. You got to fit this, time length. It's about an hour and a half. We got to fit an hour and a half. Oh, throw in a subplot, have him leave Willikers behind so that he has to find a way to catch up with him. And we'll cover the time with a side plot where he is with that Grumblebee who sees the thing at the beginning, because the opening scene of this is the carnival showing up and Grumblebee seeing it. It serves no other purpose but to introduce us to Grumblebee for that side plot. That's it. Otherwise, it's not really necessary, to be honest. We could open up with Pinocchio just, being happy. But I digress. So, Pinocchio is not only now, does he want to get the music box, but he also wants to save Twinkle. But she's a puppet. And I'll tell you why it's stupid, because something's explained there. But, so, while going down the road, he's told that what he's looking for is in the darkest side of the tunnel, but no, he decides to take where all the music and dancing is, because that's to lure him away. And there's this gondola driver who's obviously evil, and he meets this doorman who's obviously evil, then a carnival runner who's obviously evil, and it's all the same guy, because it's the Emperor of the Night, a very scary, creepy character, voiced by James Earl Jones. And growing up, I don't know how I never knew it was James Earl Jones, because hello, but it's James Earl Jones. So let me stop here and just throw out that some of these sequences are legitimately freaky. The scene where Pinocchio is being turned back into a puppet, when he's going on the organ grinder and he's dancing and he's starting to turn, it is freaky. When he gets all drunk, so to speak, and the thing starts spinning around, and freaky. And the reveal of the Emperor of the Night, he's shown the gondola driver and he turns into the doorman, and then he turns into the carnival owner, and then he turns into the Emperor of the Night, this four-armed guy with the darkness in between. He has no legs. And he's just dark. He's voiced by James Earl Jones, and it works. So very creepy. Pinocchio is powered by the energy of the blue fairy, or the good fairy, as they call her here. Now, there's a good reason for the Emperor of the Night's existence. He wants to destroy the blue fairy, or the good fairy. He wants to make sure her powers go away. And if Pinocchio signs this agreement, it will take her powers away. He's forced to sign it because... Sorry about that. Because, surprise! Geppetto has been shrunk down and put in the music box. Someone call Randy Orton, because that one came out of nowhere. But, yeah, that one always threw me for a loop. I'm like, why Geppetto? Do we need Geppetto here? No, he's just there for the end of the film so they can all be together. And the scallywag and Igor actually come to his rescue a little bit here. But Pinocchio is able to stand up to the Emperor of the Night with a blue light coming off of him. And the Emperor of the Night tries to stop him. It doesn't work. And he runs into the Emperor of the Night, which explodes and destroys the Emperor of the Night. But not before the Emperor of the Night can turn Puppetino into a puppet. And he burns up on the ship. It's fantastic. He wakes up, they all wake up, and so Pinocchio was turned into a puppet again because he signed the thing. But it didn't take away the good fairy's powers, so I don't know what that was all about. But, yeah, and then he's turned human again, and then magically Twinkle is now human. Despite the fact that the Emperor of the Night said Pinocchio is special because he's the only puppet to become human. So all the other ones were puppets. It's not like he turned them from human into puppet. No, like I thought when I was a kid. Those were all puppets. So, because when I grew up, I thought they were human kids that were turned into puppets. And they were all on that ship, and they're all dead now. But Pinocchio and Twinkle get to live on. But no, they were always puppets. Pinocchio is the only one who ever turned human. Until now, Twinkle is human magically. I think the good fairy did it. But yeah, and they run off. And as a kid, my tape cut off after everyone said goodbye. Geppetto goes to say something and it cut to DuckTales. Because my grandma had it on the tape. I never realized that watching this now, Grumblebee comes back. Because Grumblebee says his goodbyes and he leaves. I never realized, wait for me, I was kidding, or something like that. Kind of diminishes the goodbye to Willikers, but yeah. Overall, this movie is still enjoyable. It's still freaky. It's all hell. The musical number, singing, dancing, such romancing. No, no, yeah, you were born a winner. Got to know you. We're all below you. You're a star, star, star. I love that. Even though it's the evil singing song, but the villain is singing it technically. It's not James Earl Jones, but I can't imagine with that voice he'd be able to sing, really. Unless it was like, swing low, sweet chariot. But, you know, something like that. But yeah, this movie is pretty good. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I still enjoy it. And I'll be going through a lot of childhood favorite animated films as I have been. But these ones are all ones that I found on YouTube because I don't have physical copies. You cannot find this anywhere unless it's like a VHS. There's no DVD. There's no Blu-ray. Filmation never released it. However, this would not be the last time that Filmation would do an unofficial sequel to a Disney film. And we'll be into that somewhere down the line. So, let me know in the comments below what you think of Pinocchio and the Emperor of the Night. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one. Wow.